with you, friend.
Yeah, 2 days in a row.
Oh, man.
Oh,
I'll have to tell the others we have too much fun without them. You know how that goes. Hey, you all, thank you so much for joining us here for KARE 11 News at noon. Cece and Ben are off today, but that's all right. Have no fear. I have Jamie Cagle here.
I'll be here all day.
It's all good, always. We always have a good time. And you know what? It is primary voting day in Minnesota. We'll be talking about what's on the ballot and former President Trump's highly publicized interview on X. But before we jump into all the election news, I want to talk about this weather because I cannot complain.
It's hard to complain about this. Temperatures where there's supposed to be a lot of sunshine. We have blue skies. It's going to be another beautiful day. 77 right now. That dew point's been creeping up. It's in the mid-50s now, so it adds a little bit to that temperature. But all in all, still very, very comfortable weather as we roll through August. Southeast winds at 6 miles an hour. And you can see as we go through the afternoon, we should spend plenty of time in the low 80s. You will see some fair weather clouds out there, but rain chances will be holding off for the time being. There's your satellite and radar. Again, the clouds still very persistent to our southwest. And rain chances today across the region should stay very low. But looking ahead, we do need to focus on Wednesday. Rain chances really begin to take off for us. And we'll be talking about some significant rainfall. Again, there'll be some heavy rain coming with some showers, even some thunderstorms there. But as you look down the road, as we always are towards weekend, that right now still looking really good.
Jamie, thank you. Now to some breaking and disappointing news for Vikings fans. Head coach Kevin O'Connell announced that J.J. McCarthy will undergo a procedure for his torn meniscus in his right knee. The rookie was a first-round pick for the Vikings. There's still no timetable for how long McCarthy will be sidelined. Sports director Reggie Wilson and team will have more info for us in our later shows. Well, polls are open for Minnesota's primary election. They opened 5 hours ago with a pretty good turnout. Here's a look at the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Recreation Center here in Minneapolis, where Secretary of State Steve Simon came out to vote. Let's send it over to Michelle Beck, who has a look at important items to watch out for on the ballot.
On today's ballot, you're not going to see any presidential candidates. On the front side, you will see some partisan races, like for U.S. Senate and Congress and Minnesota legislature. And on the back side, you're going to see some nonpartisan races, like many city and township ones. Now, what makes today so new and notable is formerly incarcerated folks will be able to cast ballots. That's since voting rights were restored for them last year. Because of this, the Anoka County Election Director expects to see a lot of first-time voters today.
Sometimes first-time voters do get intimidated by the process. They're not really sure what to expect. Maybe they're hesitant to go out. Don't be hesitant at all. If it's your first time, please come out. Election judges are well-trained. That's what they're there for, is to help you through the process.
But he doesn't expect lines to be too long today. By the way, you do have until 8 p.m. to do so. That's when polls close. The Anoka County Elections Director, he points to the fact that voter turnout the last two primary elections was about 20%. In Minneapolis, Michelle Beck, KARE 11 News.
Michelle, thank you. And before heading to the polls, check out our voter's guide on our website. It walks you through how to vote, where to vote, and who's on the ballot. Just text the word vote to 763-797-7215. And we'll text you back with the link. A live look right now at the White House as the race for the presidency heats up. Former President Trump spent hours on the social media platform X doing an interview with Elon Musk, talking about everything from the economy to education. Meanwhile, Vice President Kamala Harris is preparing for the DNC next week. Here's Bree Jackson tracking the candidates.
Former President Trump returning to X for a discussion with one of his biggest supporters, tech billionaire Elon Musk. Trump recounting his assassination attempt.
For those people that don't believe in God, I think we got to all start thinking about that. You have to, I'm a believer. Now I'm more of a believer, I think.
Mr. Trump going on to criticize his political opponent, Vice President Harris.
Kamala was the border czar. Now she's denying it. Everything that I do, she's saying she was strong on the border. We're going to be strong.
Trump telling Musk if elected to a second term, the U.S. would have the largest deportation in history. He also laid out other parts of his agenda.
I want to close up Department of Education, move education back to the states.
The Harris campaign releasing this statement, calling the interview unhinged and stating that Trump's extremism and dangerous Project 2025 agenda is a feature, not a glitch, of his campaign. This week, Harris is expected to unveil her policies if she wins in November.
She hasn't outlined differences or similarities, and by the way, I think that's very wise.
Since launching her 2024 presidential bid, Harris has energized parts of the Democratic coalition and is now leading in some polls.
What we're seeing here is young people respond incredibly favorably to Vice President Kamala Harris over the last just a couple of weeks.
The Harris-Walz ticket is seeking to carry that momentum into the Democratic National Convention next week. In Washington, Bree Jackson, NBC News.
Harris and President Biden will hold their first joint event on Thursday in Maryland. Trump is set to hold a rally Saturday in Pennsylvania, a critical battleground state. Well, Governor Tim Walz will hold his first solo event since joining Kamala Harris as her running mate. This is part of a 3-day, 5-state dash to raise money for the campaign. Walz will be in Los Angeles today before headlining a fundraiser in Newport Beach. He'll then move on to Denver and Boston tomorrow, then Rhode Island and New York on Thursday. Right now at noon, CARE Minnesota is holding a news conference to call on police to investigate recent threatening phone calls to mosques right here in Minneapolis. They say there's been 33 mosque attacks in Minnesota since 2021, including this hit and run from this May. In the last few days, they say the Dar al-Kalam Islamic Center has received more than 14 calls from a St. Cloud-based number, including a video of a mosque massacre sent to a worshiper. They say these threats cannot be taken lightly. Well, State Trooper Ryan Lonergan is back at work after being cleared in the shooting that killed Ricky Cobb II. We confirmed overnight that Lonergan is working at the West Metro District. According to our previous reporting, Lonergan will have to complete some training before he returns to patrol. But what that training would consist of is still not exactly clear. Lonergan was cleared of second-degree murder charges back in June. A stretch of road in North Minneapolis will soon be named after Deshaun Hill, the 15-year-old that was killed in 2022 after witnesses say a man shot him after they brushed shoulders. The block of North 16th Avenue will be renamed Deshaun Hill Jr. Way. It's right next to North High School. His mother says she wanted a space to honor him away from where he was killed. Hill was a standout football and basketball star at North. Well, just a couple of hours ago, St. Paul Mayor Melvin Carter delivered his 2025 budget address that outlines an $855 million spending plan. It's filled with what Carter calls tough choices.
My 2025 budget proposes an increase of 7.9%, adding $16.4 million to our city's property tax levy and resulting in an increase of about $11 per month on a median value home. A safe and promising neighborhood is our first goal, the foundation upon which every other ambition for our city must be built.
The budget invests big on public safety, with money going to the city's forensic services unit, a diversion-based restorative justice program, staffing to better support crime victims and witnesses, and adding a second annual police academy. The Minneapolis Planning Commission approved a homeless recovery shelter in the Stevens Square neighborhood. That's despite pushback from neighbors and nearby businesses. This is one of 2 homeless recovery shelters that are applying for a new license, just created by the state to create more treatment beds. The other location is in Uptown. The city council will discuss that next month. A lot of extreme weather to talk about. Tropical storm Ernesto strengthening in the Atlantic and an earthquake rattling Los Angeles. Let's start with that. Parts of Southern California shook Monday afternoon. The quake measured in at a preliminary magnitude of 4.4. We're hearing more reports of earthquake-related incidents, including in Pasadena, where a water pipe burst in front of City Hall. The earthquake could be felt across Los Angeles as well as northern Orange County. Well, tropical storm Ernesto battered the Northeast Caribbean today as it takes aim at Puerto Rico. There, officials are shuttering schools and government agencies. Forecasters are warning people to be prepared for widespread flooding and landslides. President Biden set to announce up to $150 million in funding for research aimed at improving cancer surgeries. It's part of the White House Cancer Moonshot Initiative. There are ambitious goals, including reducing the cancer death rate by at least half in the U.S. by 2047. Well, as preparations begin for the Paralympics in Paris, work is also being done in Los Angeles for the 2028 Olympic Games. Today, we're getting a look at the custom emblem designed by Kobe Bryant's widow, Vanessa. and the powerful story behind it.
Kobe was an important advocate in bringing the games to Los Angeles.
There's so many icons that come from the city of Los Angeles, that live in the city of Los Angeles in so many different fields, that it makes complete sense to host the Olympics here, because there's so many things that you can do with the Olympic Games to even elevate it to a higher level and to tell the beautiful journey and story of these athletes that are represented in these Olympic Games.
Kobe wanted the games to come to LA because of his passion for the city, all the love Angelenos have shown for our family.
And now here's the emblem in Kobe's honor with the hope of inspiring the Mamba mentality in every aspiring Olympian. Wow.